Alright, guys, let's do this. RWBY Volume 5, Chapter 2. Now, I liked this episode better than the first one. Well, this chapter. It starts out with Watts and Lionheart going to contact Salem. And we see that Grimm again. I think I said in the credits it was called a Seer Grimm. So I like the design of the Seer Grimm, like back in Volume 4. And we learn that the tentacles in the opening are actually the Seer Grimm's tentacles that we see in this episode. And we also see that Cinder is getting better. She can talk normally now, which is good. I'm still wondering what kind of, training that she's doing with Salem. But that's fine. But we also learn, like everybody thought it was, that Lionheart is following Salem out of fear of her killing him. And that somehow Dr. Watts can heal Tyrion's tail. I don't know if he can literally help grow it back, if that's some sort of his semblance, or if he's going to somehow get a mechanically repair his tail. That's a little we'll see. We also learned that, of course, they're planning to go capture the Spring Maiden before Team Ranger can go and get it. Can go and get her. And that's why we see Salem and most likely the Spring Maiden. I said Salem. Cinder and most likely the Spring Maiden look like they're going to fight in the opening. Now, Salem also wants to talk to Tyrion, and two things could happen. It's either she's going to tell him not to fail her again, and if he does, she will kill him, or she could do the more interesting thing and kind of coddle Tyrion. Make him feel like, oh, it's okay that you failed, and that she still appreciates him. Which would, like I said, be more interesting to me, because it would give a reason why, one reason why Tyrion holds her in such regards. So I'm looking forward to that in, whatever chapter they choose to show that. After that, we move over to Weiss's story, and I also have to say, I'm not going to technically do the scenes in order. I'm going to just kind of do the storylines that I want to. So I'm moving over to Weiss's story now. And she's ambushed by the Grimm that were being talked about by, in the last chapter. And the Lancers are interesting. They're basically Grimm wasps. Man, I hope nobody calls them bees, because they are definitely wasps. And I like their design. The design's pretty good. I like the fight between them and Weiss. And the Queen Lancer, she was big. But to me, it kind of seemed like just a bigger Lancer. Yes, she had a bigger bigger butt, but I thought it would have more design on it to kind of make it stick out besides its size. But that fight was well done as well, and I like that was actually another one of my favorite scenes in this chapter, with her fighting it, and how her I forget what the song is named, but the song that was playing while she was fighting the Queen Lancer. They crashed because she wasn't able to block the Queen Lancer's lance. Well, what do you call it? What do you call it? A lance or a hook? But and it hit the aircraft, and they crashed, and they got picked up by Raven, which was, I feel like that's kind of too much of a coincidence in my opinion, that they're there already, and I'll hold off what I have to say in future chapters, depending on what happens. Now, for one of my other favorite parts is the meeting of the White Fang. And we learn that Adam, which kind of was obvious, he wants Faunus supremacy. And I can't really not argue with him, because the Faunus, like an average Faunus, is better than an average human. Because we haven't really seen any differences between them. Not differences, but any weakness the Faunus have. Because they can see in the dark, and when they have kids with a normal human, the Faunus trait is dominant, which is very interesting. And you can't. It's weird that I can't really argue with it. Of course, I don't agree with it, but he's technically right that the Faunus, on average, are better than people. Well, better than humans. And when Sienna Khan... Also, before I say anything, Sienna Khan, I loved her character design. But Sienna Khan, of course, disagrees with this, and she doesn't want to start a war with people. She just wants people... She wants equality, but she wants them to respect Faunus, so equality may happen. She doesn't want supremacy like Adam wants, and she gets killed because of it. So I personally think this was a waste of character design, because I would have liked there to be one more scene with her before, she gets killed, but it's kind of fine as it is. I just didn't like that decision. And we also learned that Hazel did not want this to happen. He didn't want people to die, because he knew that this could work without people dying, which is very interesting. Hazel is progressively becoming more of an interesting character to me, and I do look forward to some of his scenes, later in the volume. But for my predictions for the, next few episodes, I would say Weiss meeting Yang is pretty high now, since Yang is searching for Raven, and Raven captured Weiss. So that's going to be an interesting meeting if that does indeed happen. And since Adam is the new leader, that's why Ilya knew that Blake was planning to expose Adam, and that side of the White Fang wasn't going to work because Adam's going to be the new leader. So it's not looking too good for Blake's side right now, but that's about it. Why don't you guys comment down below if you guys want to say anything else, something that I missed or something like that, or just want to talk in the comments down below. I look forward to your comments. And like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to everything you guys got to say. Alright, bye guys.